time of year again, the year where we're supposed to get the spooks, the year where we're supposed to scream from what's behind the corner and dress up as something that we consider frightening. So how about today I do a top 5 list. A top 5 scary monsters from video games, movies, and anime. Now then, a few disclaimers. I'll be going on this list in order. So, if I say number 5, you'll be hearing the video games number 5 first, the movie number 5 second, and the anime number 5 third, before I move on to the next number. Does that make any sense? Good, I hope it does. Now then, the next thing is that if you don't see anything on this list that you say should be on here, 1, make your own list, make your own video, make your own blog of what you think are the top 5 for each. Because honestly, this is all just my opinion in general. And 3 is that if there's like an anime movie like the Pokemon first movie, I'm going to put it in here with just the anime instead. However, there is going to be some differences. It has a different art style from what the current anime was at the time, not just upped animation and upped in the color and maybe cinematic working, then I'll count that as a different movie. A good example of this is the I Choose You movie, because its animation, art style, and story seems to be separate from the Pokemon universe as it is, whereas the Jirachi Wishmaker gives us a timestamp of when this all took place. Now then, without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 5. Deadeye Behemoth from Final Fantasy 15. Now then, Final Fantasy 15, I want to say, nailed this mission for me. It was truly terrifying to go through the Behemoth's lair looking for Deadeye and trying to stop him from terrorizing the Chocobos. Seriously, you don't know how much I was spooked throughout this whole entire mission. I think a big portion of it was the fog. The fog really limited my vision, and seeing Behemoth from an angle that I wasn't used to, or I should be used to it from Monster Hunter World, but not today, not today, not today. But anyway, and along with that, there was a stealth segment in this game. It truly did feel terrifying to be stalking Behemoth while I was in this fog, because it kind of felt like, at the level that I was at, that he could just murder me just by looking at me with his dead eye and just going... That's all he would have had to done, and I would have felt extremely terrified that I was going to die from something immediately. The fight, however, was different. I won't count that into how scary it was, but at my level, it was a very difficult fight for me. I had to keep an eye on him, I had to know where certain barrels were, it was clear that fire damage did a lot to him. It was fun, and it was scary, and I loved this mission. Werecats from Scooby-Doo, Zombie Island movie. Now then, normally I love cats, but these cats can go to other places for now. I think the thing that terrified me most about these cats was the transformation sequence in which the women turned into them. I mean, oh dear God, that's the stuff of nightmares, and it terrified like 6-7-year-old me to death just to see this transformation. I mean, it was creepy, the way the hair just kind of grew out of every part of their body, the weird, kind of, I want to say, Lion Mountain screech or something that they used for that sound effect. And if anyone's wondering why this is on the list and not in the TV section or something, it's because I'm doing the same treatment for, anime movies on this. This movie has a whole entire different art style and has a complete spook factor to it. Also, I'm counting this as part of the horror list on here. So, yeah. Now then, from the first episode of Attack on Titan, I gotta say, it truly did spook me with the Smiling Titan. I mean, This Titan is just terrifying, both from far away and really up close when the camera decides that it wants to give us more of this nightmare feel. I mean, some of the Titans are already terrifying enough. And yeah, mind you, I've only been to about Season 1, so if you have any Season 2 spoilers, I don't care anymore. I've given up on most spoilers, so go right ahead. But anyway, this Titan is just terrifying from a design standpoint. Its smile is just unsettling, to say the least. Oh, and I think the thing that gets me more about this Titan is when it eats Aaron's mom. Oh, I don't want to make a joke about this, so I'm going to stop now. Number 4. The Dancer from Dark Souls 3. Now then, anyone who has seen this video will know what I mean when I say I am terrified of the Dancer from traumatic experiences. Play the clip, damn it!
Talk to her again.
Killer. Keep going. Come on. There you go. There you go. One more hit.
Why?
Take it. Now go behind her chair.
I feel like a monster. What are you doing? Are you activating a boss? Are you making me activate a boss? I'm scared now! Oh no, it's not good. You are doing this on purpose, aren't you? I'm going to die, aren't I?
So,
What'd you forget to tell me?
you remember that boss you were mentioning before that like you were kind of scared of because of like because of an off rhythm or something?
Oh, you son of a! How underprepared am I for this fight?
Undeniably.
Anyway, needless to say why the Dancer is on this list. I still have a fun time fighting her, honestly. I think the video that was made from the game theorist a while back, I'll put a picture of it on screen and link it in the description so that you guys can go check it out. But I think this video kind of helped me the most, because it at least alerted my ears to, oh no, she's going to strike here. So it became easier over time to face her, but needless to say, that first time that I faced her, I was terrified because I didn't think I'd be able to fight her until a much later point in the game. The Corrupted Forest God from Princess Mononoke. Now then, this monster is extremely just weird in general. I mean, first off, the Forest God itself, when it starts off in this movie, it's nice, it's a bit weird already. But then, when it loses its head, I'm calling this the Corrupted Forest God, because, oh my goodness, does this scare me! I mean, its tentacles, it looks creepy, it's blobbish, to add to that, it's already creepy on top of that, and then just the way that it kills things is just, the cherry on top of this monster. I've watched a lot of weird movies now that I think about it. But needless to say, this movie is wonderful. If you have to, I would suggest going and checking this movie in some way, shape, or form. Whether you have to rent it from Netflix, whether you can buy it in Walmart, because that's where I got a copy of it. The Parasites from Peristyle, or Parasite, however you say it. Needless to say, parasites are already scary enough. I mean, they leech onto a body, they go, hey, can I hijack you for a bit? Thanks. And they just cause damage to you overall. But now then, I'm not talking about the main character's parasite, because that's a special instance. I am talking about the other parasites, like from this. Yes, that is probably the most terrifying part of this whole entire anime for me. This part just scared me in general and let me know of what's next to come from these parasites, and they just got creepier and creepier and creepier. And oh my god, get it off my screen! Number 3! Eaters from Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. Okay, these things have many, many boxes checked on my list for what automatically makes you creepy in my mind. 1. A creepy humanoid form. Check. 2. Tentacles. Check. 3. Just being a blob that's weird with tentacles and can transform. Check. Now then, the Eater, as I said earlier, doesn't have just this form as a disposal. It can turn into a creepy humanoid form, and it can, kind of spoilers here, but it corrupts some Digimon, turning them into kind of Eater-ish Digimon. It corrupts a certain Digimon that's an important boss fight in the game, and Eaters are the final boss of the game. So to say that these guys are important to the story of Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth is an understatement. I just wish it was kind of something else, though. Godzilla from Shin Godzilla. Now then, the way that they portrayed Godzilla in this movie was quite interesting. He has 4 different forms and changes from form to form when he feels like he's going to die. He has form 1 in the water, which is just a giant tentacle tail that's not totally creepy at all, and that we barely get to see any of it. But then there is the second form of Shin Godzilla, which kind of looks like a cute little puppy, and honestly, I don't know why I'm mentioning it on a scary list. Oh yeah, all that blood that comes out of his unsettling gills. Then there is his third form. It kind of looks like a turkey to me a little bit. A little bit of a goofy turkey, but needless to say, the eyes on it are unsettling, to say the least. But once this Shin Godzilla realizes he's going to die, he needs a coolant for his body. He heads to some sort of place where he can just cool off, to say the least. And when he comes back in his fourth form, known as Shin Godzilla. Now then, in this form, he looks like a giant wound lump that has been burnt to a crisp. I mean, oh my goodness, the design of this monster absolutely looks disgusting, and I love it. The mouth that stretches that wide open so that he can use the full power of his beam to his extent, and don't even get me started on that tail of a mouth. It looks like it could swallow me up in one gulp. And don't get me started on what happened when he started going to his fifth form, because, oh god, no, nightmare fuel! Parasite-infected monsters from Yu-Gi-Oh! Now then, if there's one thing you can probably get a hang of on this list, is that I don't like things that have tentacles and insects. I haven't talked about them much, but they kind of creep me out, and I don't like it when things look like they're either coming off, sticking to something, or coming out of something. And the parasite-infected monsters from Yu-Gi-Oh! Are just, oh no, that is my nightmares. But anyway, the way that these guys get these infected is from a card called Parasect, which basically, I'm not going to read its card effect because I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel, but basically what happens is, you draw this card, and you make your opponent basically have to put it into their deck when they summon it, and if they draw the card, they play it as an equipped spell, and it makes all their monsters become insect-type monsters. And okay, I can imagine that if the transformation was neat enough, but the way that they turn them into insect monsters is just creepy. Number 2. Basil Geese, Basil Goose, Basil whatever you call it, and Devil Joe. Now then, the reason why there are 2 monsters on this list is solely because they exactly have the same purpose. Show up on a hunt a hunter is going on, spook the hunter, say hello, and make sure you give them a bad day. Basil Geese has the jump scare factor. You'll come out and you'll hear a little sound in the music. You know what sound? The sound that brings back some more flashbacks again. And you'll look up and just say, oh, no, please go away, I have done pods, go away, Basil Geese. How however you say your name. But the one that truly does better at, I want to say, the jump scare part is Devil Joe from a visual perspective, because you don't hear his music until he decides to really roar. I mean, you'll just be fighting a monster, just slashing at its face, and all of a sudden you'll shift your camera, and here's Devil Joe looking at you, ready for a snack, and he's hungry for either some hunter or a monster. He doesn't care. He's Devil Joe. He wants something to eat. Basilgeuse does better at scaring you from a musical perspective, mainly because, again, war flashbacks, and the fact that it will just be extremely quick, and he can find you from the sound of another monster roaring. If a monster roars and a Basilgeuse is on the map, you can be sure he'll be there in a few minutes. But Devil Joe, he won't be there in a few minutes. He's more of a surprise factor. You don't know if he's even going to come up to that birthday party that you have planned for the monster. A birthday party of death, that is. Legion, from Gamera, Attack of the Legion. Now then, if I said it before, insects kind of creep me out, and so do things that wiggle a little bit. Legion does a lot to creep me out. For one, it's an insect thing, so I'm already a bit creeped out by it. Normally, most insects don't creep me out, just ones that just kind of look extremely weird. But this insect only has one eye, which makes it a bit unsettling. And then there's the fact that there's multiple different forms. There's the mini legion, the small little kind of soldiers that go out and attack everyone and everything that has materials that they need to build a giant flower rocket. I am not kidding you. Then there is the giant legion monster that actually has holes in its chest, which already kind of creep me out. What is that kind of fear again? Give me a second. Oh yeah, it's called trypophobia. Oh, I can tell you now, I have that, and the fact that Legion has this on it, I'm terrified of Legion just even more. And much more is the head splitting open to fire some sort of beam with that unsettling lump on its head. I'm going to go click on something else now. Ah, puppies. Puppies always make everything better. Oh, kittens! Kittens too! Alright, I'm in my happy spot. I'm good to go. Let's get going back to the video. Clone Groudon from Jirachi's Witchmaker. Now then, this Pokemon... Is it even a Pokemon? I don't have any idea, actually. But this monster does look extremely just terrifying for... not just the tentacles that it has that comes out basically of every part of his body, but the coloring and the squishiness of this monster. I mean, the coloring itself that glows and that looks like it's moving, it's unsettling to say the least. And the way this thing's mouth open is like it was glued together, and that's enough to scare me even more. On top of that, then you add in the weird tentacles that absorb Pokemon by sucking them into the body, and you got yourself a bit of nightmare factor here. Now then, I just like the way that this Pokemon does come out of the ground, though. It certainly lets you know that this Groudon is not the Groudon that you'll want to see. It's the Groudon that's extremely menacing, and that will probably look at your house and go, that's a nice snack. Can I have that snack? Well, the regular Groudon will be like, that's a nice house. Can I destroy that house? Number 1! Wendigos from Until Dawn. Now then, they make this list for a few reasons. One reason is the lore and design behind them. The lore is they just basically become a Wendigo on the mountain if you were a human and you became a cannibal. That is the requirement for you to become a Wendigo. Then the next thing that they do well in this game is their jump scares. Seriously, I've never felt more afraid in a horror game than I have with the Wendigos. I mean, seriously, even in like Evil of N, I only felt scared mainly because they were new to me of what monster would be around the corner, or just surprised from a certain monster. However, the Wendigos beat this list mainly because of the lore behind them. I don't know much about anything from Evil Within, but the Wendigos, I just know from the in-game lore, it's unsettling for any story about a cannibal. For a cannibal to turn you into a monster and basically a killing machine at that point, it's unsettling to say the least. I mean, their lore is creepy, their design is unsettling, the vision kind of reminds me a bit of Predator, even though I haven't seen the movie, but everyone keeps making comparisons to it, so I know what they mean when they say Predator vision. And, on top of that, the only way that you can basically avoid these creatures is to not move. Sleepy Hollow from the 1999 movie. Now then, this movie was made by Tim Burton, and you can truly tell that it feels like that. The whole entire movie has this gothic theme to it, and along with that, it's extremely creepy. Now then, the movie has a main character, basically a scientist, trying to figure out why all these people are being killed by a certain someone in the town. He thinks it's basically nonsense, but even once he sees the Headless Horseman and finds out the Horseman is truly headless, he even becomes scared by this, and tries to figure out how this horse is summoned here. Well, the horseman is summoned here. So, eventually, he's able to find out that someone took the head of the Headless Horseman and is using the head in order to conjure up some targets, to say the least. Those targets are the people who the Headless Horseman kills throughout the movie, and the Horseman truly feels unstoppable. And once he gets his head back, oh boy, does this movie just scream Tim Burton even more, and it's starting to terrify me. So let's get on to the final one. Now then, the D-Reaper makes it on here for quite a few reasons. Let's see. 1, it has tentacles, so that's a big check on here. 2, it has a menacing face in all of its different forms. 3, it has multiple different forms that it can use at its disposal. 4, it's a big giant blob that absorbs and kills things inside of it. 5, it has a creepy humanoid form. And the 6th reason is, it took advantage of someone's emotions that they were feeling. Jerry, during the moments of Tamers when the D-Reaper took possession of her, was depressed from the death of her partner Leomon. And during this depression, the D-Reaper found something it could exploit in Jerry. An emotion it could use to its advantage to basically hijack Jerry's body, take control, and use it to its full advantage. So that it can sneak itself back into the human world and essentially start a base of operations somewhere. Use Jerry's voice as a medium to talk. And all the different mouths on this thing add to that creepiness. Honestly, if it was just the creepiness alone of the minus the Jerry being the medium, and the fact that it took advantage of our emotions, it still would have been number 1 just because it met all of these criteria for me. But for the fact that it took control of the sweetest role in all of anime, the sweetest role that is just so pure, it's just, I am feeling a bit just, wow. And the sad part is, I think it only took control of Jerry because it was the only one that it could exploit. If any of the other tamers had fell to this kind of depression during the time when the D-Reaper was looking for someone to take over, then it could have taken over any of the tamers. It could have taken over Kazu, it could have taken over Kenta, it could have taken over Takado, Henry, Rika, and even Susie. The D-Reaper is terrifying to me for that reason in all of anime. Now then, that was just my top 5 list for each of these categories. If you have anything that you'd like to either add to this list or make your own list, please leave so in the comments down below. Give this video a like, and subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you guys in the next video.